Hey there guys, welcome to Dino's Vault and welcome to my first ride review of the UM Renegade Commando BS4 model. To know about UM or United Motors, their origin, their history, geography, etc., you can watch my first ride reviews of the Renegade Sport S as well as the Renegade Commando BS3 models. Links are mentioned in the description portion below. Now what makes the Renegade twins special is the fact that they are trying to target the complete void that lies between the entry-level Avengers and the more expensive Harley Street 750 when it comes to proper low-slung cruisers. We Indians who stand fascinated by cruisers for the sheer comfort and the classy feel they have on offer now have just the thing we were hoping for all along. Now, while the Renegade Sport is more of a modern sports cruiser model, the Commando is the ideal hardcore classic low-slung cruiser with just the right amount of power, comfort, features and value all packed into one amazing machine. Regarding its real-life stint and performance, I've had the opportunity to interact with the first lot of owners during our Republic Day ride. The link to that video is mentioned in the description portion too, and all of them were quite satisfied with the bike's overall performance, barring a few minor teething problems that's quite acceptable with any new launch. Now this new BS4 Renegade Commando model also brings along some significant changes with it. Before we look at the list of changes that this bike gets, it's obvious that this new model, just like all other two-wheelers this year, now gets a BS4 compliant engine. It also gets AHO or automatic headlamp on feature now. To know all about BS4 engines and whether AHO feature affects the battery life of your motorcycle, you can follow my Dinopedia video links mentioned in the description portion below. The first and most important update that this model gets is the inclusion of fuel injection system. Yes, the first generation model was a carbureted one, whereas now we have this new model coming with fuel injection. Secondly, the new BS4 Commando gets the Comfort UM gel seat as standard now. Please note that this was earlier available as an optional extra, but now it has been made standard, which is great. For riders who prefer to go touring, seating comfort is crucial. The ergonomically designed Comfort UM gel seat offers an inner channel that eliminates pressure points, while the gel pads minimize vibration transference, thereby maximizing comfort for the rider all through his ride. Thirdly, the torque now has been increased from 21.8 Newton meters on the preceding model to a healthy 23 Newton meters. The power though remains the same at 24.8 bhp. Fourthly, the wet weight has now gone up from 172 kgs earlier to 179 kgs now. I believe the added weight comes courtesy of the BS4 update as well as the inclusion of fuel injection system on board. The final update that your ears would be itching to hear is about the pricing. The good news is that with the GST implementation, price has now gone down by nearly 3,000 rupees. So the bike is now available at an ex-showroom price of just 1.8 lakhs here in Hyderabad as opposed to 1.83 lakhs earlier. Other noteworthy features of this bike include a USB mobile charging port, which makes this the first bike here in India to offer such a feature. The Speedo, as you can see here, comes well illuminated and offers all the info that we need. It includes a speedometer, odometer, trip meters, fuel gauge and even a gear position indicator, which I believe really comes in handy, especially when your bike gets a 6-speed gearbox. I personally like the wider 140 section rear tire, which lends the bike a proper muscled cruiser feel. I also love the overall design of the bike. Though the Sport S looks nice and sporty and modern, the Commando really looks classy and unique and special. The bike does turn heads for sure on the streets. All the design elements on this bike fall perfectly into place with nothing sticking out oddly, be it the headlamp housing that has a rustic and retro feel to it, or the spoke wheels that add the vintage touch, or the side panels that perfectly integrate with the bike's design, or even the tail lamp layout that ideally falls into place, completing a typical old school cruiser design concept. The exhaust has a nice chunky feel to it, and the exhaust note also underscores the actual character of the bike. The seats are mighty comfortable, and further aiding this are the forward set rider foot pegs and perfectly positioned handlebar that gives you a commanding yet relaxed feel while riding this bike. I would suggest that you casually take a test ride of this bike just to experience the special feel that this bike has on offer. Trust me, it really scores high in terms of comfort. The switchgear is of good quality and we do get a high beam flasher as well as an engine kill switch. We don't get a light switch now because of the AHO feature. Looking at the engine specs, powering the Renegade Commando is a single-cylinder, 4-stroke, 4-valve, liquid-cooled, fuel-injected 279.5cc engine that puts out a max power of 24.8 bhp at 8,500 rpm and a max torque of 23 Newton meters at 7,000 rpm. Now this comes mated to a 6-speed gearbox. Taking the bike out for a ride, I noticed that in the lower RPMs, the bike is not as smooth as the carbureted variant that I had ridden last year. However, as you shift up the gears and climb into the mid-range, the bike feels a lot smoother and refined. The vibrations are virtually non-existent as you cruise in the top gear at speeds of around 90 to 95 km per hour. The riding ergonomics are perfectly sorted out to give you a nice and comfortable ride all along. The clutch feel isn't all that heavy and the gear shifts have a slight clunky feel to them, but that again denotes the cruiser character of the bike. The acceleration and the power delivery is quite linear. The fueling is a lot better now with the fuel injection on board. As a result, the throttle response is more instant. The wider tires and the longer wheelbase do offer a planted feel at higher speeds. This bike offers a wheelbase of 1545 mm, which is the longest in its class and better than even the more expensive motorcycles it competes against. As a result, the bike offers great straight line stability. With a healthy torque of 23 Newton meters, this bike offers better torque than the ultra expensive Aquila 250. Looking at the brakes, we get a 280 mm disc with 2-piston caliper up front and 130 mm drum brake at the back. The brakes are decent enough considering the nature of the bike. Looking at the suspension, we get hydraulic telescopic forks up front and twin hydraulic rear shock absorbers, and together they do offer a nice, smooth and pliant ride quality. Looking at the tires, we get tube tires here as opposed to the tubeless tires that we get on the Sport S, and that's obvious because here we have spoke wheels. We get a 110 by 90 16-inch tire up front and a 140 by 90 15-inch tire at the back. Now these chunky tires do offer good road grip. Other noteworthy specs include a ground clearance of 200 mm, which is amazing for a touring machine. Tank capacity is 18 liters, which translates into good tank range. Seat height is 750 mm, which is ideal for average height riders and riders up to 6 feet tall. Shorter riders need to check whether they can reach out to the forward set rider foot pegs. The mileage figure as per user feedback is 30 kmpl, which is very impressive considering the segment this bike falls into. The service interval for this bike is every 3000 kilometers, and that is one thing you need to bear in mind. Price ex-showroom Hyderabad for the new BS4 Renegade Commando is Rs 1.8 lakhs, thereby making it a supreme value for money proposition for cruiser lovers. Well, that's pretty much it for now. I just hope you found this video useful. Until next time, this is Dino saying ciao. Take care, God bless and ride safe.